Alright guys, welcome along to the stream. We have the Mexican Grand Prix today, 71 laps of the circuit in Mexico City. And we have a very exciting race start on our hands today, 1.2 kilometers down to turn 1 from the starting grid. And there's going to be a lot of slipstreaming and a lot of trying to give the correct person a tow to maintain the lead right at the start of this race. Alright then. So there's a lot of questions about the race start today, but I'm just going to start off with the strategy because that's obviously the most, well, that can be a very important factor. So we're going to start off with, I think it's, yeah, so the ideal strategy is starting off on the medium tyres and then going over to the hard tyres. There are two other alternative two-stop strategies, but the problem is they are quite a bit slower, so it's starting off on the mediums, then going to the hards, and then to the mediums again. Or the third strategy would be the mediums and then the hards and then the hards. But it's going to be pretty difficult to consider doing a two-stopper because it is so much slower than a one-stopper around this circuit because tyre deg isn't that high. And yeah, so we're looking for a one-stop race. Obviously, 2 weeks ago we had the US Grand Prix with a two-stopper, which was very interesting indeed. But of course, we can't have a very interesting race. I mean, well, we probably could have a very interesting race every single time, but usually the two-stop races are much more interesting than the one-stop. So hopefully, we have a lot of on-track overtaking. All right then. It will be a one-stop because of the tyre degradation. It's not very high, so the tyres don't wear out very quickly. And that's why it will just be a one-stopper by the looks of it. Hello, C. Paul, and Archipelago 23. There is 26 minutes and 30 seconds till the race starts, so it's only, so it's not too far away right now, and we have. Just so you guys know, when we get later into the race, you lose 22 seconds under a pit stop, and then you will lose 15 seconds if it's a safety car or a virtual safety car when you do the pit stop. So you got to watch out for that. So if someone's trying to pull off the overcut or the undercut, they will have to be 22 seconds ahead of the other driver if they want to come out ahead. And yeah. So then, what else is there going on? We have some team radio from Lewis Hamilton. Let's just play this. Here we go. Oh, it's just not loaded. Oh, here we are.
It's definitely hard to get a feel for the car there.
Yeah, copy. Surface temps are very low compared to what we expect.
I was very shy. I was doing the starts before the line, so it was pretty dirty there.
Yeah, understood, Lewis. Yeah, the grip is going to come up once we're on the grid.
Yep, so they're having there's some issues. There's low tire temperature, low track temperature. In fact, the track temperature is air temperature is 20 degrees and track temperature is 46. I need to change that, but they're expecting higher track temperatures, which is rather surprising because 45 degrees track temperature is usually very high indeed. So I don't know why they're expecting higher temperatures, but here we are, and we also have some more radio from Hamilton. In fact, so let's just listen to that as well. Here we go.
Super low bog. No power for a sec.
Yeah, copy. We're just looking into that.
Yeah, so Hamilton's just been having some issues with the clutch by the looks of it. Very low RPM and very low very low RPM, very low acceleration, and then the engine cut out for a second as well. So hopefully the Mercedes guys can fix that before the start of the race. But yeah, they need to do that because otherwise, if he gets a bad race start, it will be pretty terrible because he'll end up behind Perez and Verstappen. Well, it's not an engine issue. They only had one. It was just the engine cut out for 1 second, so that might just be. Maybe he engaged the clutch when he shouldn't have, or something like that. So So you think there's going to be 2 safety car, 3 DNFs, and one of them will be a Red Bull and Alfa Romeo with more points. Well, Alfa Romeo getting points is very much on the card, starting 11th and 10th. We'll see if they can progress up the field, and it's going to be pretty difficult for them because the cars that are ahead of them, the Ferraris and the Aston Martins, are very quick in the corners and on the straights. So making the overtakes will have to be very much DRS assisted, and we'll see if they can maybe pull off something spectacular, especially Kimi Raikkonen. We all know he's a very talented racer, so yeah. We have Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri, who's just answered an interview saying we're starting in 5th, which is really good. A nice toe into turn 1. We'll try and benefit from anything that could happen at the front. So Pierre Gasly is already expecting something crazy to happen at the front. Yeah, so we'll wait and see, because quite a lot of people think we might have a crash going into turn 1, because with the 2 Mercedes starting at the front and then the 2 Red Bulls behind, everyone's trying, and they're both very tightly blocked in battle for the constructors and the drivers. We might have some ridiculous sideways 4-way action or something, so who knows. Why does Mercedes have more? Mercedes have more top end speed because I think they're running lower downforce. So lower downforce, that means they're slower through the corners, but then they're quicker down the straight. So that's why they have more top speed. But then they have, of course, they're slower in the corners. So it sort of balances out. Only 20 minutes now till the race starts. But there's, even if there isn't a battle at the front, there's definitely going to be a battle between Sainz, Leclerc and Ricciardo, because there is a 3.5 gap between the two drivers, between the two teams, McLaren and Ferrari, in the Constructors' Championship, and they're just going to be battling away for that 3rd place that they want in the Constructors. The advantage is obviously to Ferrari because they have 2 cars battling 1, but not as Norris is starting down in 18th place with a full engine penalty, brand new power units, components, every single one of them is brand new. And yeah, it looks like, well, turn 1 is going to be very, very interesting indeed. I have no idea what's going to happen. 2016, yeah, Lewis Hamilton just cut straight across the grass. But the FIA have added a new rule in. They have said you have to go around the bollard when entering, if you do cut the corner at turn 1. So yeah, they have to go around the bollard. That might be quicker than taking the corners, but we'll have to wait and see about that. And yeah, also guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It very much will help out the channel and the stream. If you guys were here not yesterday, 2 weeks ago, hitting the like button really broke the amount of viewers we got. So yeah, very much does break the algorithm, so I would appreciate it if you do press it. Odds that Max runs into Hamilton, well, they are starting like 4 meters apart from each other, so they're very, very close. I think Mercedes, their ideal strategy will be giving will be telling Bottas to give Hamilton a tow, and then going down the straight, Bottas will be ahead, giving Hamilton the tow, and then the Red Bulls, with their slower straight line speed, will not be able to overtake them. But that's obviously the ideal strategy, and there's so many little variables that can happen. Bottas could get a bad start, or Hamilton could get a slow start. Verstappen could be really quick off the start. Anything could really happen, and it's just going to be, it's so unpredictable because there's so many different little things that can have a very big impact on what happens. Yeah, we could get a red flag. There's a pretty good chance. I mean, if someone decides to brake way too late, then they could just crash into a bunch of people, do a Valtteri Bottas at Hungary, and just become a bowling ball. And yeah, Camera Mal, thank you for the £1 donation to Team C's. If you guys didn't see, if you guys don't know, or if you didn't see, all of the donations on today's stream, and I think all of the ad revenue as well, all of that goes to Team C's, which are 2 charities that are working to clean up all of the plastic in the ocean. So any donations or anything like that will be very much appreciated. All right. 18 minutes left till the race starts, and yeah, so Pierre Gasly starting in 5th place, in a very good position to maybe gain some more, to maybe get a podium if there are any crashes, because the AlphaTauri are looking very strong on quali pace and on race pace. If we look at the race simulations from FP1 and FP2, I'll in fact just get them up and then we'll see what they were, but yeah, FIA counter Alonso's trick or make it worse. Well, we'll see if that trick actually works or if Alonso decides to just go straight on. But in terms of the race pace simulation, the Red Bulls are the quickest with the Mercedes 1/10 behind them, and then the third quickest team is the AlphaTauris with the Ferraris and Alpines very, very close behind the AlphaTauris. And then there's a bit of a gap to McLaren, Aston Martin, and Alfa Romeo, and then Williams and Haas are right at the back with very, very slow pace indeed. So yeah, we'll probably see a very tight battle between the Red Bulls and the Mercs, especially yesterday. Not yesterday, yeah. The qualifying lap times, they were so close. Literally 8, 9, and 16 millisecond gaps between the two drivers. So it's going to be very, very close indeed. What's your tops view count ever? It was 18.4k people watching 2 weeks ago, in fact. So it's the last race where we broke my record. So we'll see if we can carry on and break the record this time as well. So if you guys want to do help breaking the record, then hit the like button and subscribe. The race begins in 17 minutes exactly. It says it at the top of the screen, so yeah. It's just a little timer that's counting down, but AlphaTauri is currently at the top of the midfield, and they'll be looking to extend their advantage over the Alfa Romeos and the Alpines in the Constructors' Championship. What does the colours on the track? The colours on the track are the different sectors. So when I refer to the first sector, that is the yellow one, and then the second sector is the red one, and the third sector is the blue one. So the first sector very much long straights, the middle sector high speed corners really, and then the third sector are just slow corners. When did I start watching F1? I watched F1 started watching in 2018, in fact, so I'm not even that like I'm not even an old F1 fan or anything. Like I haven't watched it for a long time, just I very much do like it. All right then, yes. So it's also going to be very interesting because we have 3 DRS zones on this track. So we have a DRS zone going down the start-finish straight, and then we have a DRS zone after turn 3 going down into turn 4, and then we also have a DRS zone between the second and the third sectors. So anyone within 1 second will have a very big advantage in terms of pace, because well, they'll have DRS, which is free top speed and free time gained on the driver in front. So that's going to be pretty important, staying within the DRS and getting within DRS range. And the strategy is the medium to hards is the ideal fastest strategy according to Pirelli and the F1 teams. So most drivers will be starting on the hard tires, on medium tires, sorry, but I will let you know who's starting on what tires when I get the information. So yeah. All right, then we have team radio from Sergio Perez. Let's just listen to this. Let's just listen to this. Here we go.
Have a look at the end, just before reaching the voice. I had like a bug from the engine.
Copy that, Chicos. I'll have a look.
So Sergio Perez has heard something from the engine, like I think he said a little pop from the engine. So yeah, so Sergio Perez's engine just had a little bit of a little issue, and they'll probably be checking that out. He definitely does not want to DNF at his home race. The Mexican fans, all of them are cheering him on. It'll be very, very sad indeed if he does get a DNF. But yeah, he probably won't retire because they'll fix the issue before the race even starts. And yeah. All right then. Also, grid penalties. There are Norris, Ocon, Tsunoda, Stroll, and Russell all starting at the back of the grid with either engine or gearbox penalties. So, we have Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin starting in 14th and 15th, one of the highest starting places that they've actually ever had. But, yeah, we'll see if they can maybe capitalise, but by the looks of it, we're going to have a lot of overtaking from Norris and Stroll coming through the field because, well, their cars are significantly quicker, and yeah, it'll be very interesting to watch that. Yeah. Alrighty then. Yeah, the Mexican fans are going crazy. There's loads of smoke bombs everywhere. So yeah, everyone's pretty excited for the race start. And yeah, cannot wait now. Only 12 minutes remain till we go racing. The cars are on the grid, by the way. So they're just doing the... What are they doing? The national anthem. Yeah. And just to remind you of the championship battle, we have Max Verstappen, who is 12 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship, and then we have the Mercedes team, which is 23 points ahead of the Red Bull team in the Constructors' Championship. So we'll find out and see what happens at the end of this race with the Constructors and Drivers' Championship, and also. Just to point out, Christian Horner has said that they would rather win the Drivers' Championship with Verstappen than to win the Constructors' Championship with Red Bull as a whole. So, yeah, so they're fully committed to try and win the Drivers' Championship with Verstappen. And yeah, that's what's going to happen then. I guess that's what's their aim, at least anyway. So, yeah. Any comments as to how Red Bull don't particularly use AlphaTauri as a scapegoat. They're very much their own team. They obviously get parts from Red Bull, but Pierre Gasly is never been told to give Verstappen a tow. It's always between the teams. So, yeah, there we go. Your prediction is first is Perez, second is Verstappen, third is Schumacher. Well, maybe that's a bit of a maybe Schumacher in third is a bit hopeful, but we'll wait and see what happens. Yeah, Raikkonen is in 10th. He wasn't in 10th in quali, but there were quite a lot of engine penalties. Tsunoda, Norris, Ocon, and Stroll. So all of those guys moved Kimi Raikkonen up a few positions, and yeah. So then, here we go. I just woke up at 2:15 a.m. for this. Well, let's hope this race is very, very good. McLaren podium will be pretty tough because we've only got Ricciardo in 7th and Gasly and Sainz looking very strong this weekend. So, yeah, a McLaren podium is going to be pretty difficult, but Daniel Ricciardo is obviously last late breaker is very good at overtaking, so there is a good chance that he could do it. How many power units are you allowed before engine penalties? You're allowed 3 power units before an engine penalty. So 3 power units per season, and then if you take a 4th or a 5th, you do get an engine penalty. All right, I'm back. I just turned down the volume on microphone. So, but anyway, Toto Wolff has said, we are aware that Red Bull will go very aggressive. Oh no, we are aware that Red Bull might go very aggressive with a 2-stop strategy, but we'll figure it out once the race gets going. So, yeah, I mean, Mercedes are very much prepared for Red Bull throwing everything at them because... well, that's what they're going to do. Sergio Perez, they're willing to sacrifice at Sergio Perez's race to try and get the actual victory. And yeah, we'll see what happens there. Just looking back at the race starts, it gets very, very tight going into turn 1 and turn 2. It's most of the people, if you're on the inside going into turn 1, you're most likely you're going to come out ahead. So going on the outside is not the best strategy. But we'll see what happens there. in 2019, there was a very aggressive strategy by Ferrari. Ferrari told Leclerc to give Vettel a tow, and then Vettel very much squeezed out Hamilton when trying to get the tow from Leclerc. Sorry, so there's going to be quite a lot of maybe pushing some drivers off the track as well, because, well, getting the tow is quite possibly the most important thing going down this 1.2 kilometer straight going down to turn 1. So, yeah. Also, guys, we're very close to 200 likes, so if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If Bottas takes out Max Verstappen, we're going to get a lot of... well, there's going to be a lot of memes about it, and they won't be particularly very nice to Valtteri Bottas. So, there you go. But, anyway, I think we will be going on to the formation lap in a few minutes now. So, yeah, there we are. So the cooling, also guys, because the track temperature is 46 degrees and air temperature is 20 degrees, and because the air is so thin as well in Mexico because it's such high altitude, cooling for the engine is going to be a very big issue, and they're just going to want to make sure that, well, they're going to have to make sure that they have adequate cooling, because otherwise, if you get stuck in someone else's dirty air and your engine overheats, that's going to wear out your engine a lot more and give you less power. So it's going to be very important to maintain those engine temperatures and tire temperatures as well. And yeah. Who is your favourite team in F1? Well, I do support Seb Vettel, so I would have to say Aston Martin, really. Oh, hello, Ashik Dolly. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I remember. You messaged me on Instagram and you're from South Africa, and you got that sick BMW. Oh, I don't remember, E92. I'm not sure exactly. I forgot. But the first time, yes, the stadium section is packed full of Mexican fans, and, well, they cheer Sergio Perez every single lap he's driven past, in practice and in qualifying. Every single time Sergio Perez has driven past, they've cheered. So cannot imagine what they'd be doing if Perez either wins the race or is even in the lead at some point. So the excitement levels are through the roof, and yeah, they'll get a real Mexican wave in as well, because well, we're in Mexico. So yeah, there we go. I think Daniel will get some points. Yeah, Daniel's in 7th, in a solid position to get some points. Maybe we'll see Vettel catapulting up the field, because we all know he's very good at race starts, and so is Fernando Alonso starting down in 12th. So both of those drivers will be doing their best to try and get a solid race start and gain a few positions. Everyone's going to be wanting to gain up positions, but not everyone can gain positions because, well, at least one driver will have to lose out. So we'll see which drivers do lose out on the race start. It's most likely going to be the drivers who are on the outside of turn 1, but you never know. Someone could pull off a very good move around the outside, take the inside for turn 2, and then seal the deal at turn 3. I think Daniel could definitely get 5th. It's going to be difficult to overtake Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri, because his race pace is looking very, very strong. And we all know Pierre Gasly is, well, his trademark positions are 5th and 6th place. So getting him out of 5th place is going to be a very, very tough thing to do. But Daniel Ricciardo, last of the late breakers, could definitely pull that off. We have team radio from Mick Schumacher. Let's just listen to this. Here we go.
Okay, Mick, it's 6 minutes till we go. 6 minutes, you can do some practice.
It's currently now 4 minutes and 30 seconds till the go. That team radio message was a bit delayed, so there we are. Norris has got a penalty because he has took a brand new engine this weekend. So every single component of his engine, the internal combustion engine, the MGUK, MGUH, battery, control electronics, the whole lot have been replaced with brand new components, so he'll have some extra horsepower going down the straight. And he's just done an interview and said, we'll see, our aim is to get some points. It won't be easy, it's a long race. It is a long race indeed. 71 laps around this circuit they'll be driving today, and yeah, you're gonna have to keep your utmost focus throughout the entirety of this race, because the middle sector, a tiny little mistake going offline could lose you a lot of time, and a very simple spin as well on some of these curbs. So drivers will have to be very focused indeed going down in today's race. So yeah, there are 71 laps, 71, and it's in the top corner of the screen. If you guys are on your phone, it might be a bit difficult to read, but there you are. And if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Will help out the stream and the channel and everything. So do appreciate that. And yeah, here we go. This is it then. We have the Mexican Grand Prix. Sergio Perez's home race. He was born 340 miles away from this circuit. And today it is the 18th round of the Formula 1 World Championship. Valtteri Bottas starting on pole position alongside Lewis Hamilton. And the first time this circuit appeared in Formula 1 was in 1963. And the circuit has been actually named after the brothers who won at this circuit. The next two races in the Formula 1 calendar are the two highest altitude races of the entire season, in Mexico City and in Interlagos at Brazil. But we have a circuit of 4.3 kilometers, 2.7 miles, top speeds of 230 miles an hour going down the straights here. 19 corners going around. And yeah, just going to be very, very exciting indeed. Turn 1 is going to be a massive action zone on lap 1 and throughout the entire 71 laps, because there is so much overtaking possibilities. And the DRS zone after turn number 3 ensures that there'll be lots more action down into turn 4 as well. And yeah, just the soft tyres are the quickest, of course, then the mediums are 4/10 slower than that, and then the hards are 7/10 slower than the softs. The starting grid is Valtteri Bottas in first place alongside his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Both drivers weren't expecting to be on the front row after FP3 on Saturday, but then in qualifying they pulled it out the bag. Third and fourth is Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Fifth and sixth, Gasly and Sainz. Both of those drivers have a very good shot of a podium if there is any DNFs further up the field. Daniel Ricciardo and Charles Leclerc line up alongside each other. Very much will be a very interesting battle between the Ferraris and the McLarens for third place in the constructors. Then we have Kimi Raikkonen and Seb Vettel, old teammates, now in 9th and 10th place, lining up on the 5th row of the grid. 11th and 12th are Antonio Giovinazzi and Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso, known for his amazing race starts, he will be, he'll be he'll be someone to watch out for going into turn number 1. Then we have Latifi and Schumacher on the 7th row of the grid alongside. And then behind them we have Mazepin and Russell. Russell with a gearbox penalty, and then 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th are Tsunoda, Norris, Ocon and Stroll. All of these guys have grid penalties, and the starting tyres are Yuki Tsunoda will be on the softs, Esteban Ocon will be on the softs as well, and everyone else will be starting on the mediums. We have team radio from Max Verstappen. Let's listen to this. Here we go.
Radio check.
Loud and clear.
Is it possible to clean my dash here on the wheel? It's a bit dirty.
Yep, Max Verstappen's dash is a bit dirty, so they're just cleaning that up before they get out on the formation lap, which is right now, in fact. So I need to change the stream title. And yeah, we will be underway. Anonymous, well, and whoever the anonymous person is who donated $5 to Team C is very much is appreciated. And now we've got 2,000 people watching. Just going to explain it once before the race starts. Team C's are two charities that are working to clean up the plastic in the ocean. So they are. So yeah, all of your donations are going to either take plastic out of the ocean through some robots, or take plastic out of the beaches with volunteer support. But we are now on the formation lap. All of the drivers weaving around the track, getting some heat into those tires, and just getting ready to go racing. Very important to have high brake temperatures on the starting grid, because 1.2 kilometers going down the straight, your brakes are going to be very, very cold, and your tires will also be very, very cold. So as much temperature as possible will help out. And yeah, here we go then. Let's hit the formation lap, just going through the middle sector now, the drivers. The stadium section, all of the fans going very, very crazy indeed. And they're just shifting through the gears, making sure all the gears are working as intended. And there we go. Valtteri Bottas has lined up in first place. We have Lewis Hamilton alongside him, and all of the drivers now coming up to their grid position and stopping at the correct spot. Down to the top 10 have parked their cars, and we've got the last 10 just coming up now. So here we go. The race is starting in well, five or so seconds. Well, no, not 10 seconds or so. I'm gonna have a drink and then we'll start the commentary. Also, before the race starts, be sure to smash that like button. Very much does help out the channel, and will basically break the YouTube live stream algorithm if you do smash it. So here we go. Lance Stroll has lined up on the grid, so this is it. All of the drivers revving up their engines. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights out, and away we go. Hamilton gets an absolutely electric start, already right on the back of Valtteri Bottas. So in the tow of Valtteri Bottas, and they're all side by side. Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, 3 wide going down the straight. Still a full kilometre to go. Verstappen is ahead of Hamilton. Verstappen has got the lead ahead of both Mercedes. Daniel Ricciardo up into third, and we have a yellow flag. Looks like someone has lost out a lot of positions, but Verstappen and Perez first and second. Going into turn 1, Verstappen maintains the lead, Perez drops to 4th, Gasly's up into 3rd. Verstappen maintains a solid advantage over Lewis Hamilton. Amazing race start from him. And then Valtteri Bottas is down in 18th place. Horrible race start from him. I think he's had an accident and he's spun, so he's down in 18th. Tsunoda is down in 20th. He's had a horrible race start as well. But the big gainers today, Antonio Giovinazzi gaining 5 positions off the race start, and George Russell gaining 7. Absolutely crazy. We have a full safety car out now. Full safety car. So I will full safety car. We'll see if anyone does decide to box, but by the looks of it, Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda have had a bit of an accident, and they need to be, their car just needs to be fixed really and taken off the track. So there we are. Yuki Tsunoda is out of this race. I will see what's happened. Daniel Ricciardo was up in 3rd, but then got all the way knocked down back into. Is all the way down in 14th, so he had a horrible start. Valtteri Bottas spun at the race start, so that's what happened there. But I will get some images up as soon as I possibly can, because you guys are definitely going to see what's happened here. So we're in the full safety car. Tsunoda and Schumacher are out. No one has decided to go into the pits, but in fact, we'll actually check if anyone's decided, but I don't think anyone's gone into the pits just yet. Daniel Ricciardo and Hamilton were the quickest going down the straights, both of them getting very big toes off the drivers in front. Mazepin's in 11th, absolute shock. But Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, both in the pits. Looks like both of them got damaged or flat-spotted tyres. Daniel Ricciardo did lock up going into turn 1, so that's probably why he's come in for a pit stop, but. Yeah, very, very crazy indeed. I will get an image of what the race start looked like, because it was, very crazy indeed. All right. Bottas is out, and so is Daniel Ricciardo. It's now 2 versus 1 at the front of the grid. we have this is the image of Valtteri Bottas being spun around. Mick Schumacher had an issue with his car, and he's just parked up at the side of the road, so his engine died going down the straight. So they're gonna have to lift up Mick Schumacher's car off the side of the racetrack. But that's what happened to Valtteri Bottas, and that's why we have a full safety car. And yeah, there we go. We have team radio from Max Verstappen. Let's listen to this. Here we go.
Simply lovely, that looks.
Simply lovely. That's what they've just said. I am showing images over the live timing because most people prefer to see the images, because then they can have a vague idea of at least what's going on. But yeah. All right then. So we also have team radio from Esteban Ocon. He is up in 14th place. Let's see what he has to say.
Got okay, but big hit.
Copy that, we're watching. All okay so far?
Yep, so Ocon looked like he had a bit of damage, but now he's recovered, so he is all right. His car is all right, but it was very much 3 wide going down the race start, and then there was no room for anyone else. Daniel Ricciardo very much on the inside, getting squeezed by Sergio Perez. He had a massive lockup, so that's why he came into the pits, and Daniel Ricciardo spun Valtteri Bottas around. Sergio Perez cut the chicane because trying to avoid Valtteri Bottas, and then I'm not exactly sure what happened to Yuki Tsunoda, but he is also out of this race. But George Russell has gained so many positions. He started the race down in, I think, 17th place, and he is now up into 9th, so gaining 8 positions off the race start. Very, very good indeed. Lewis Hamilton had a reaction time of 0.31 seconds, and Max Verstappen has a reaction time of 0.34 seconds. So yeah, Max Verstappen having a slower reaction time, still getting ahead, and it was just all of that was just solely down to the toe that Max Verstappen got off Valtteri Bottas. Daniel Ricciardo had a horrible lockup going into turn 1, and that spun around Valtteri Bottas. Sergio Perez decided to go completely off the track to avoid him, and then Daniel Ricciardo obviously got front wing damage, so that's what happened there. But yeah, this is Valtteri Bottas who's been spun around, so yeah, obviously we need, he will have to go and get those tyres replaced and maybe a front wing as well, because someone else might have driven into him. But we have team radio from Lewis Hamilton. We'll listen to, I'll actually have this image up while we have the full safety car out, but Lewis Hamilton team radio, let's go.
So we've got Perez at car behind.
It's Valtteri.
So Valtteri had a tap, he's now back of the grid. He's continuing to run.
So yeah, Lewis Hamilton asking about Valtteri Bottas, because obviously he needs Valtteri Bottas he needs Valtteri Bottas to fight Red Bull strategically. So not the best thing that happened there. Okay, so what happened with with Esteban Ocon, what happened was that he got sandwiched with Yuki Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher. So yeah, pretty crazy. Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda got tangled. Fernando Alonso nearly hit Valtteri Bottas, who got spun around, and he's lost out, and he's in 12th place. That's exactly where he started, but he should be a bit higher up. So not the best for Fernando Alonso, but nevertheless. This is an image of Yuki Tsunoda, so he is out of this race. He's retired because his car's got way too much damage to continue. And yeah, I think we will have got an image now of what happened between, here we are. So Mick Schumacher is out of this race, and so is Yuki Tsunoda. Both drivers retired after getting tangled with tangling with Esteban Ocon. So yeah, not the best for the two drivers, but there we go. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Will help out the channel and the stream. Will basically break the YouTube algorithm, in fact. So if you do hit the like button, very much does help out. There's Daniel Ricciardo with his broken front wing, so he's already gone into the pits and got that repaired. And yeah, this is Valtteri Bottas, who got hit by Daniel Ricciardo, and that's why Daniel Ricciardo's front wing is broken. All right then. So this is what happened there between Daniel Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas. They had contact, so that's what happened there. But we are back to racing now. So green flag and green flag, there we go. And going down the straight, Max Verstappen still has a good advantage over Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz has overtaken Antonio Giovinazzi, so the two Ferraris up in 5th and 6th, having a very, very strong weekend indeed, and it looks to help them in the Constructors' Championship battle against the McLarens. So Verstappen's already pulled out of DRS range, and Perez is within the DRS, well, very close to the DRS range of Lewis Hamilton. So if Perez can hold it together in the middle sector and gain on Lewis Hamilton, but he'll be within DRS and very much annoying to the Mercedes strategy, guys, because it's going to be very, very difficult to pit and still come out ahead. Well, it's going to be very difficult to try and overtake Verstappen without losing the position to Perez because of the strategy. So Fernando Alonso makes an overtake on Nikita Mazepin. Good move from him. Norris gets past Esteban Ocon, and Ricciardo gets past Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas is now last. He was starting on pole position, and now he is out. Well, he's not out. He's in last place, 18th out of 18th drivers that are still in this race. So yeah, from pole to last for Valtteri Bottas, not the best race start for him, but we'll see if he can recover. It's going to be very, very difficult with all of the dirty air and the overheating issues, but that Mercedes obviously is the quickest car around this circuit, so he definitely does have a chance. We have team radio from Daniel Ricciardo and Seb Vettel, so let's just play this. Here we go.
Okay, Daniel, there is some damage to the left-hand side rearward deflector. That's like the barge board area. It doesn't look massive at the moment. Difficult to give you numbers until we start running normally. The back of the floor is okay.
All right, so Daniel Ricciardo has got damage to his barge board. The barge boards are very, very complex indeed. So even a tiny little bit of damage can reduce downforce further down the car. So Daniel Ricciardo is going to have a damaged McLaren for the rest of this race, even though he did get a fresh front wing. And then we have team radio from Seb Vettel and Max Verstappen. All of the team radios coming through today. All right, let's listen.
So tyres are in a pretty good window. We'll take a little bit of lift and coast for engine temp, just for more margin at the restart.
And then we have Max Verstappen's team radio.
Gap 1.6.
Yep, so they're just keeping up to date with the gap, because it's going to be very, very important to stay out of the DRS range for Max Verstappen. It's going to be very important for Lewis Hamilton to stay within the DRS range. Hamilton, with the quickest first sector, he got a bit of a toe off Verstappen, but nevertheless, the Mercedes is an absolute rocket ship going down in a straight line. So, yeah, very important for the Mercs to try and get within DRS. Carlos Sainz has hit the highest top speed of the race so far, 340 kilometers an hour. And it's quite likely we're going to get a lot more higher top speeds going down, because we have slipstream and DRS helping us out for this. All right then. So back up, we have Kimi Räikkönen further down the field in 10th place, trying to make an overtake on George Russell. He's just overtook Alonso, in fact, and looking to make the overtake on Russell. Vettel's still holding that 8th place spot in his Aston Martin. Antonio Giovinazzi's moved off a lot of positions. Yes, the Italian Jesus has gained loads of places, in fact. He's very, very good at race starts, and he is up into 7th. So very good job from him. And then we have we have now Vettel gaining on Giovinazzi. So the Giovinazzi obviously had a very good race start, but that doesn't mean his car performance is very, very quick. The Aston Martin is quicker than the Alfa Romeo in race pace and in quali pace. So Antonio Giovinazzi is going to have a very tough time keeping Seb Vettel behind him. Vettel will have DRS because it has been activated, and he will also have the slipstream going down the straight. 0.3 is the gap between the two drivers. And Raikkonen's hit a new top speed record, 352 kilometers an hour, and that's only 11 kilometers away from the highest ever speed reached in a Formula 1 car. So, and Norris has just gone and beaten that. So top speed's record's been broken left, right, centre today. The highest top speed was 363 kilometers an hour from Valtteri Bottas in 2016 at this very circuit. So, we'll see if we can beat that, but Lewis Hamilton has just come over the radio and said he's quick, and that was the entire radio message. So Hamilton is surprised by Verstappen's pace. They were very surprised by the lack of their pace in qualifying yesterday, but their race pace looks to be very strong for the Red Bulls. We have team radio from Esteban Ocon. Let's just listen to this. Here we go.
Yeah, going to be hit on the side though, I'm not sure now. Copy that.
So it looks like Esteban Ocon just cannot get enough of hitting other drivers. So, well, he hasn't hit them, he's been hit. So, unfortunate there for Esteban Ocon, but he's still making it through. He's in 15th place. Looks like he's got a bit of damage. He's on the soft tyres. Ricciardo and Bottas both pitted. They come out on the hard tyres. The map is broken. I'll just refresh the website. So the guy's screen will go black for like 5 or 10 seconds, but it will come back in a second. So, well, in 10 seconds. So there we are. But back to what's going on further up the field. Verstappen has already built a 3 second gap over Lewis Hamilton, so very, very quick indeed is Max Verstappen, and he's in free air, so he has enough time to manage all of his tyres. And yeah, the map is, by the looks of it, the map is completely broken. So yeah, is there anything that works? No. The map's broken, but it will probably get fixed in a few minutes. So anyway, we'll have a look at that later. But 3 second gap that Max Verstappen has over Lewis Hamilton, and he's extending that every single corner. Fastest second and third sectors from Max Verstappen, and yeah, just very, very quick indeed. Fastest lap of the race as well, half a second quicker than Hamilton on the last lap. So very quick indeed. Vettel got the fastest first sector, and then that was quickly taken away by Kimi Raikkonen. Kimi Raikkonen is flying. He hasn't even got a toe, but somehow got the fastest first sector. So props to Kimi Raikkonen. And then we have Vettel, who still has not got past Antonio Giovinazzi. And there we go then. Both Ferraris, though, are in a little group of their own behind the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, but they're still ahead of the Alfa Romeo. So Ferrari just looking to score some solid points this weekend, because they definitely do need them if they want to win, get that third place in the Constructors. We have Fernando Alonso, who has just overtaken George Russell. Solid move from him, and yeah, just a nice overtake, a very textbook, just down the inside, and then good overtake there. But there we go. Yeah, the map is broken, guys, and I can't do anything about that right now, but I will fix it I'll try and fix it. But yeah, can't do anything about that right now. We have Valtteri Bottas team radio, so let's just listen to this. Here we go.
This straight, I feel like there's not much I can do apart from kill my tires.
Yep, so Valtteri Bottas is very much sat in the DRS train behind Nicholas Latifi. It's got Latifi, Stroll, Ricciardo, and Bottas all in the train. Choo-choo. Yeah. So Valtteri Bottas is his tyres are overheating. His tyres and engine both overheating. So it's going to be very, very difficult indeed for him to maintain reliability of that engine, of course, because the Mercedes engine has not been very reliable this year. And yeah, so there we go. Bottas is on the hard tyres. He went into the pits and then replaced the mediums and went out on the hards. Hamilton sets the fastest first sector. So Verstappen and Hamilton very much trading fastest sectors and lap times. And yeah, but a very, very good battle between Fernando Alonso and George Russell. And they're battling away, trying to go down the inside and outside of each other. And yeah, there we go. Alrighty then, we have Lando Norris in 12th place, who's just made the overtake on Nikita Mazepin. So good solid overtake from him, good progression up the field from Lando Norris. He's going to have to probably, his target was points when he did the interview before the race, but he'll be looking to try and get 7th or 8th maybe. It's going to be a very solid recovery drive either way. And then we have Max Verstappen, who's just gone and beat his own lap time record. Another fast lap from Max Verstappen. And we'll see, is Max pushing too hard? Because of course he needs to maintain those tyres for another maybe 10 or so laps, 10, 15 laps before he does come into the pits. So are Mercedes going to pull the undercut and try and overtake Max Verstappen through the pits? And yeah, who knows? And then I'm just going to pin this message because, there we go. All right. We have team radio from Lando Norris, in fact, so let's just listen to this. Here we go.
Okay, mate, that's Mazepin in front. In front of him are 3 cars. The lead is Raikkonen, he's P9.
So, yeah, just talking about DRS Range and how Norris is trying to get past him. Norris will be having a little battle with George Russell, which will be very interesting to watch between those two. The two Brits trying to score some points and get into the top 10, and we'll see what happens there. But Leclerc has been given the hurry up by Ferrari over the team radio. Sainz has just come over the radio saying he needs to go quicker, otherwise I want to overtake him. So, yeah, a bit of a battle there down at Ferrari. And yeah. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Very much will help out the channel and the stream. Yeah, all your support is very much appreciated. All right, we have team radio from Sergio Perez. Let's listen to this.
And this plays up to Hamilton. Main losses in the high speed, 7, 9, 10.
Yep, so Sergio Perez is losing out in the high speed, and that's to be expected because the dirty air from Hamilton's car will be affecting him a lot more in the high speed corners. Fernando Alonso has just made the overtake on... Oh no, it's Esteban Ocon who's just made the overtake on... Wait, what? Oh, Esteban Ocon's just made the overtake on Nikita Mazepin. I couldn't even read the car numbers for a second there. So Mazepin was quite high up. He was in 10th place, in fact. He's just falling back now. Lance Stroll has either gone into the pits. Yeah, Stroll has gone into the pits or is out of this race. And most likely he's gone into the pits, really. And there we go. There are 372k fans at the circuit. Absolutely crazy. And with Sergio Perez in 3rd place, the Mexican fans are going to go insane with him getting a podium. So Nicholas Latifi has been... has reported that he's got no grip, so he's just pitted now and has just come out on the hard tyres, so he'll be going on for a very long stint of 58 laps. So it's going to be pretty difficult to see. Well, it's going to be very difficult to manage those tyres all the way till the end of this race, and yeah. Alrighty then. Stroll has just come into pits as well. So both of those guys struggling for grip, and they've just come into the pits, but it's going to be very difficult indeed because 58 laps on those hard tyres is going to be very difficult to manage. Of course, the lap is shorter, but it's pretty difficult. All right. Stroll also had a bit of a pit stop issue. It took 3.9 seconds, which is double what it usually takes. Mazepin has also just gone into the pit, so he has come out of the pits as well. Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas moved up into 14th and 15th place. But the gap up at the front, Verstappen is just extending that lead more and more. It's now 5 seconds of a gap that he has over Lewis Hamilton. So a very big gap indeed that he has. And yeah, he'll just be looking to maintain that for the rest of this race, really. Very good job from Max Verstappen. Sergio Perez is only 2.5 seconds behind Hamilton, so within undercut range. If Perez does go for the undercut and Red Bull go aggressive with the strategy, they could pull off an undercut and potentially get a Red Bull 1-2. Who knows what will happen there. But Verstappen is building the lead up at the front, and Hamilton is wondering if it is time to go in for a pit stop and try and do some interesting strategy, because Hamilton's just come over the radio and said, my tyres are dropping off massively. So not the best for Max Verstappen, but not the best for Lewis Hamilton, sorry. His tyres are wearing out and cannot maintain pace with Lewis Hamilton, but cannot maintain pace with Verstappen. I'm so not on it today. Hamilton could definitely try for an undercut, but he's not going to gain 5 seconds of lap time through an undercut unless Verstappen just forgets to pit, which won't happen. So Verstappen is pulling away at a rate of not 7/10 in the last lap. So Hamilton is going through a pretty tricky phase with his tyres. And yeah, they need to do something quickly, otherwise Perez will catch up and then they'll have a very interesting battle on their hands with a Red Bull 1-2. And that Constructors' Championship will be closing up, and Verstappen will extend his lead in the drivers as well. So Red Bull are going to have to try and do something interesting. We have team radio from George Russell, so let's listen to this.
At the pit stop, right-hand side mirror down.
Yeah, so George Russell struggling for brake temperature. His brake temperature is too high. He needs to bring them down. So he's thinking, if we do come under the pit, if we go through and do a pit stop, then my brake temperature will come down, which will very much help him out. But that's what he does, in fact. George Russell has just come into the pits. Lando Norris has made the overtake on George Russell as well. Quickest first sector for Lando Norris. 2/10 quicker than Hamilton, 4/10 quicker than Verstappen. So that is the power of the slipstream. And yeah, he's just absolutely breezed past George Russell with the slipstream and the DRS. And yeah, just looking to maybe get, he'll be looking to pit soon and try and get some points. I'm going to try and reset the map, guys, and see if that fixes it. So I'm just going to, the screen will go black for a second, but it will be back. So there we are, and maybe that was going to fix it. Who knows? Nope, still broken, but it's alright. I mean, the commentary, and that's mostly what you want to see, because I guess you can see some of the stuff on the map, but Yuki Tsunoda is out because he had an incident with Esteban Ocon at the start of this race, so that's why he's out. But Sergio Perez has just come over the radio saying, my tyres are getting better. So Sergio Perez, he's having less overheating and finding more and more grip, and well, he's closing up to Lewis Hamilton. In fact, 1.8 seconds is the gap. Antonio Giovinazzi is the next driver to pit. Everyone who has pit has all come out on hard tyres. Vettel now up into 7th. Giovinazzi is moving down the order because he has gone into the pits. All right. Headley Pepper, the timing screen's blurred. I think if you go into the settings and turn up the quality on YouTube, that'll probably fix it. And there you go then. But anyway, back up at the front, Hamilton is still falling away from Verstappen. He's still setting a few personal best sectors, but Verstappen's race pace is nowhere, completely out of this world, really. And yeah. We have Lando Norris, who's just made an overtake on George Russell, so that was the overtake there. Very much just breezed past him with the DRS, and then this is the gap between Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez going down that straight. You can see there's a massive gap all the way down to the back, so it's just the Mercs and the Red Bulls very much in their league of their own, and Max Verstappen in a league of his own with that absolutely electric pace. But this is how close the field was, and now it is very much spread out. So that's what it was before, and this is what it is now. So there we go. Valtteri Bottas he got hit at the start of this race, so he got hit by Daniel Ricciardo and then spun around, so he's down in 13th place now. We have team radio from him, in fact, so let's just listen to that.
Give us a balance check when you can.
Mainly understeer behind the car ahead in high speed.
Copy that, so we see a bit of drop on the medium.
So Valtteri Bottas having issues with understeer when behind the drivers in front. So I mean the dirty air is very much affects you in the high speed a lot more than in the slow speed. So he's having a lot of trouble going through those corners. going through the middle sector mainly, where there's a lot of high speed corners with a lot of understeer. So there we go. But not Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez's engineer has just come over the radio and said we're looking at Plan B. So obviously I'm not the Red Bull engineer. I have no idea what Plan B is. But do let me know in chat what you think Plan B is. And yeah, the website that I'm using, I don't even remember. I think it's f1tfeed.net or something. So f1.tfeed.net. Yeah, Headley Pepper. The timing screen isn't blurred because it's fixed for everyone else. It's just this quality setting that you need to turn up. So there we are. And all right then. So what happened here in 2019 was the last race here in Mexico, and Hamilton and Verstappen both managed a very, very long second stint on those hard tyres. With very little overtaking as well. So whoever's track position has a very big advantage indeed. And well, Verstappen has the track position, so that's what it is. Plan B could be a 2 pit stop. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But they obviously have 2 drivers versus 1 in terms of strategy, so that's a very big advantage in terms of strategy for the Red Bull team. And we'll see how they decide to do it, if they try and undercut Lewis Hamilton. And Max Verstappen's pace is it doesn't look to be stopping anytime soon. He's setting purple sector after purple sector and fastest lap after fastest lap. So Max Verstappen on 22 lap old hot medium tyres is still setting fastest lap. So yeah, looks like the Red Bulls have a lot of pace left in the tank. We have team radio from Seb Vettel. Let's listen to this.
That's the point. All our temperatures are good. All our temperatures are good.
Yes.
Good. So all our temperatures are good now. Tyres are going to get better from here.
So all of their temperatures are good, as the team radio, as the engineer said, but their tyres will be getting better as well. So they'll be getting some more grip, and the tyre wear won't be as significant. Valtteri Bottas has been stuck behind Daniel Ricciardo for the best part of these last 10 laps, and he's been gaining going down the straights every single time with slipstream and DRS, but never getting close enough to pull off a solid overtake. So Valtteri Bottas struggling in those overheating Mercedes. The Mercedes, their engine cover was significantly less exhaust compared to the Red Bulls. So looks like they were running the engine trying to get as little drag as possible, and in the process of doing that, they have potentially overheated the engine a bit as well. So we'll wait and see if that does get better for the Mercedes. But here we are then. Yeah, the Mercedes definitely do overheat a lot more than all of the other cars. And yeah, they've got a little drag, but then obviously overheating is a big problem. We have team radio from Sergio Perez, who's now dropped back a bit, 2.2 seconds away from Lewis Hamilton. And let's see what the Red Bull mechanics have to say.
Okay, we're starting to catch the first back markers. Mazepin's in front of Hamilton.
Yep, so we're 20 laps into this race, and they have already caught up to some back markers. Latifi and Mazepin both have been lapped already. And it looks, it's because those guys have pit, and obviously the leaders haven't pit yet. So that is why that's why they're catching up to the back markers. But just so you guys know the scale of how many fans there are 372,000 fans, and every single one, quite a lot of them all supporting Sergio Perez. So yeah, very crazy indeed. And yeah, all right then. Anyway, back to the race. They're getting the elbows out because they're getting the elbows out at this race here today because the title championship battle is hotting up, and every single point counts from now till the end of the season. So there we go. There are 50 laps remaining of this race. There are 71 laps in total. We've completed 21, and there are 50 laps remaining. All right. But the gap back at the front is up to 8 seconds. So, yeah, Verstappen, no signs of slowing down, and the map is working again. Let's go. So, yeah, woohoo. Great. And as you guys can see, the gap between Verstappen and Hamilton is absolutely massive. So, yeah, Hamilton's also coming up on Nicholas Latifi for the for traffic. So it's going to be pretty difficult for Latifi to, well, he needs to get out of the way of Hamilton and Perez because they're very much having a lot of strategic battles down at Red Bull, and they'll be having battles on track as well in a matter of laps. So yeah, there we go. Alrighty. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It very much will help out the stream and the channel. Yes, I do appreciate all of the support. And there we go. The map is working. Oh, so I can delete this message now. The map isn't broken. There we go. All right, let's see who has pitted. So the drivers have pitted are Russell. Oh no, I think it's just Ocon. Ocon, Stroll, Latifi, Mazepin have pitted, and not everyone else. Everyone else is still out on those medium tires. So these medium tires are coming up to the pit window now. So we'll have to watch out for who's going to come in and try some undercuts. But there we go. All right, Max has not got DRS on anyone. He might get some DRS on Stroll, and that'll help him get a toe down the straight. But he is significantly ahead of everyone else, and that's why he's not got any DRS. But Verstappen, Bottas and Ricciardo, very much going at it every single lap. Bottas is now half a second behind Ricciardo, got the DRS, got the slipstream, but still not being able to pull off a successful overtake. So the McLarens, Daniel Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas, very closely locked in battle, and we have team radio from Daniel Ricciardo as well. So here we go.
Yeah, the balance is changing quite quickly.
Copy.
So yeah, the balance for Daniel Ricciardo's car probably shifting from understeer to oversteer as these tires wear out more and more, and we'll just have to he'll just have to manage that and maybe he was probably going to go do one more pit stop. So there we go. This website is called, I think it's called f1.tfeed.net. So if you go on that website, then it should give you this map. You have to sign in and a bunch of stuff, but yeah. All right. Hamilton is maintaining a pretty solid advantage over Sergio Perez, though. Pierre Gasly's in no man's land, basically, in between the guys at the front, between Red Bull and the Mercedes, and in between the two Ferraris behind him. So Pierre Gasly putting a solid performance, getting fourth place is going to be very, very helpful for the AlphaTauri team to stay ahead of Alpine in their Constructors' Championship battle. But getting a podium will be pretty difficult for him, as he's just 12 seconds behind Sergio Perez. It can be pretty difficult. All right. Hamilton has just said these guys are too fast for us, as the gap has just extended to 8.5 seconds, and Perez maintains within a couple of seconds, 2.5 seconds. That's just one tiny little mistake from Lewis Hamilton, and Sergio Perez will catch up. Yuki Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher had contact at the start of this race, and that is why they are out of this race. They had contact on lap 1 going into turn 1, and that's why they're out of the race. And yeah, there we go. But Pierre Gasly definitely has a single foot wrong, and he just has to stay out of the undercut range for Charles Leclerc, and that P4 will be looking very, very good for him indeed. Alrighty. The Constructors' Championship, there's 23 points in between Red Bull and the Mercedes, so they will be looking to, Red Bull will be looking to close up that gap, and this race will be very much, this race is definitely going to help them out because, of course, they're going to be gaining loads of points with Valtteri Bottas being in 12th place, and only Hamilton, the only point-scoring Mercedes. That's going to help out in the Constructors a lot, and extending Max Verstappen's championship advantage as well. So there we go. But we have team radio from Sergio Perez. Let's listen to this.
let's stay on Hamilton, close this gap up.
Yep, so he's just been told to close the gap up to Lewis Hamilton, and they will probably be trying the undercut. So do not stop watching, because there's going to be some very interesting strategy, and the battles between Daniel Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas just keep on going. Bottas is gaining so much going down the straights. Daniel takes a defensive line, and it looks like Bottas will be going for the best exit possible, and he nails that exit, goes right up to the edge of track limits. Gets the DRS and the slipstream, going down into turn number 4, goes down the inside and tries to go down the inside, does not make it stick, tries to go around the outside for the next corner, still unable. Daniel Ricciardo just chops him off, and he's just marginally behind Daniel Ricciardo, and Daniel Ricciardo's taking all of the advantage of the track position, once again going down into turn 4, still nose to tail are Daniel Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas, and they're basically providing all of the action for today's race, because until everyone starts pitting, Perez has closed up the gap down to 2 seconds, so half a second in the last lap. Perez has closed up, and it's just going to be very good indeed for the Red Bull strategy team to try and pull off an undercut. This stream is a fundraising stream, so it's a charity stream, and all of the ad revenue and the donations that you guys do all go to 2 charities cleaning up the ocean of plastic. So yeah, there's that. But back to the race, 45 laps remain, and we're coming up to the pit stop window for the medium tyres now. So 23 laps that these guys have done on these mediums, and Perez has just closed the gap to under a second now, so it will only be a matter of laps before Red Bull decide to bring him in and maybe potentially score a Red Bull 1-2, which will be very good indeed. And with Perez in second place, the 372,000 fans, most of which who are Mexican, will be going absolutely insane. Daniel Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas once again squabbling for P4, going down into turn number 4. 3/10 is the gap, and Bottas still gaining down the straights, but never close enough to make a move stick into turn number 4. He's been doing that for the past 5 laps. So, yeah, I mean, Bottas having a very tough time overtaking the McLaren, and McLaren obviously have the Mercedes engine in the back of them, so they have a lot of top speed as well. But Bottas just cannot get close enough, so he's going to have to wait for a mistake from Daniel Ricciardo. But Daniel Ricciardo, very experienced driver, quite unlikely to make a mistake. And Perez once again going quicker than Hamilton, 2/10 this lap, and they are closing up more and more. And it will be a matter of time before they do go into the pits. But Verstappen is checked out completely, 9 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And Max Verstappen definitely does go very well indeed around Mexico, so it is one of his favourite circuits, traditionally done very well around here as well. So yeah, very good job from Max Verstappen. He's upholding his pace that he always has around Mexico, but Daniel Ricciardo's pace very much, he's just putting a stop sign in front of Valtteri Bottas, because Valtteri Bottas is finding a no way pass even though he has the quickest car on the grid. Perez has closed the gap up to 1.5 seconds, getting ever closer every single lap. So, yeah, it's looking pretty good for Red Bull, because Valtteri Bottas can't get into the points. That means the Constructors' Championship swings more and more in their favour, and it's just helping them win that championship. All right, we have team radio from Lewis Hamilton, so let's see what he has to say.
Lewis, we're looking at target plus 6.
So they'll be going for 6 more laps, but I think Red Bull are going to try and pull off the undercut and stop that target plus 6 that Mercedes are planning. Hasnat Ali has just said, love it. Do appreciate the support, guys. Yeah, all of the likes and the nice messages in chat are very much appreciated. Back to the race though, Bottas once again stuck behind Ricciardo, and in fact he's fell back a bit because his tyres have started to overheat and his brakes as well, both all of them started to overheat. So he had to drop back, recharge a bit of the battery, and then he'll go at it again in the next 5 or so laps to try and overtake. But there we go. Lewis Hamilton has gone into the pits. Sergio Perez still stays out. He does not follow Lewis Hamilton in the pits. So Hamilton's just gone into the pits. So target plus 6 meant lap 40. Well, 42 laps remain now. And there we go. So Mercedes have boxed, and Hamilton will be going full hammer time coming out of the pits because he needs to get he needs to try and close up the gap to Verstappen and make sure Perez does not get the undercut. Ahmed Ali has asked for a high, so there we go. But I'm not going to give everyone a high because there's like 6,000 people watching, so that'll probably take longer than the entire stream. But Hamilton has come out into 5th place, right behind Charles Leclerc, so he'll get the slipstream off Charles Leclerc. Now it's up to Charles Leclerc if he wants to defend against Lewis Hamilton, screw up the race for the Mercedes guys, or if he wants to just let Hamilton go by and then be Red Bull's enemy. So Sergio Perez not putting any quick lap times whatsoever, no personal best lap times going through this sector, so maybe he's not even planning to pit this lap. He's now coming through the final sector, and we'll see if he does pit. But yeah, there we go. Lewis Hamilton's pit stop was 2.4 seconds long, so it wasn't it wasn't like an electric pit stop, but nevertheless very quick pit stop from the Mercedes guys. And Charles Leclerc is not letting Hamilton by. Hamilton is on fresh hard tyres, 34, and Charles Leclerc is on 34 lap old mediums, so it looks like it's going to be a breeze for Lewis Hamilton to make the overtake, and it is. Hamilton makes a very easy overtake, but Charles Leclerc has gone into the pits. So we have Sergio Perez, who is not boxed yet. Don't know exactly what the Red Bull team are trying to do there. Hamilton hasn't had any electric pace going in that on those fresh hard tyres, so we'll see if that was maybe the wrong strategy, because usually the undercut is the better strategy, but maybe if he can't extract any pace out of it, it wasn't worth it, and the Red Bulls have just done a very good job there. So Hamilton, in fact, has just set the fastest first sector, so just completely ignore what I've just said, because the hard tyres are providing some very quick pace. It's just that he was in the dirty air of Charles Leclerc, that's why he couldn't show it. Sergio Perez is going to be Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez will have to start pitting very, very soon, because otherwise Lewis Hamilton will get a significant undercut on them. We have team radio from Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, so let's play both of these. Here we go.
I cannot see him.
Understood?
Yep, so Charles Leclerc couldn't see Lewis Hamilton in his mirrors because the Formula 1 the visibility in the mirrors are very, very bad. So it's to be expected, really, from Charles Leclerc. But yeah, he obviously his mirrors weren't in the correct place or something, so we need to see there. But Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the race 2 seconds quicker than Max Verstappen. So the Red Bull guys are going to have to come into the pits very, very soon, and we'll see what they decide to do. Pierre Gasly has just pitted as well, so he will come out in maybe 6th or 7th place. But Hamilton has definitely got a lot of pace on those hard tyres, and the Red Bull team is going to have to pit very, very soon. We have team ready from Max Verstappen. Let's play this. Here we go.
Tires are good.
So Verstappen says the tyres are good, but his pace is not showing that is not showing that really, because 2 seconds slower than Lewis Hamilton. Kimi Räikkönen has just set the fastest first sector. They're quickly taken by Charles Leclerc. So I'm just going to check the top speeds, because I think we're going to have some crazy top speeds going down. 360 kilometers an hour from Lance Stroll. So that's only 3 kilometers an hour slower than the highest ever recorded speed in Formula 1. So very, very good. Very quick going down this straight with the high altitude and low air density of Mexico circuit. But Hamilton, quickest middle sector again. So his pace is pretty strong on those hard tires, and Red Bull are going to have to do something very, very soon. And yeah, there we go then. Yeah, Max definitely does need to pit right now. So I don't know exactly why Mercedes aren't pitting, but yeah, maybe maybe Red Bull are deciding to go long and try and do a one-stop very, very safely indeed and have fresher tyres at the end of this race. So there's no chance Hamilton can make an overtake. But there are 39 laps remaining of this race, and we're approaching the halfway point now. Kimi Räikkönen has just come into the pits as well. And also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button or subscribed, be sure to do so. Very much does help out the channel. And yeah, Charles Leclerc makes a solid overtake on Fernando Alonso around the outside at turn 1. And yeah, good job from Charles Leclerc. And in fact, Alpine just tweeted before Alonso got overtaken. He said, "We're in the groove of this," and then they've just jinxed it. We have team radio from Sergio Perez. Let's listen to this. But Max Verstappen has just come into the pits, guys. So we'll see if he comes out ahead of Lewis Hamilton. They're both coming down the start-finish straight now. Verstappen disables the pit limiter, exceeding 70 kilometers an hour, coming out the pit lane now, and he is comfortably ahead of Lewis Hamilton. 8.7 seconds is the gap between the two drivers. Sergio Perez now leads this race, and the Mexican fans are going absolutely wild. So, yeah. We have team radio from Perez, in fact, so let's listen to this. Here we go.
Check out how the tyres.
I mean, they're not too bad to keep this pace. I mean, at least we get understeer.
So Perez's tyres are still very, very good, and as we all know, Sergio Perez is very good at managing his tyres. So he is still holding out on those tyres in the lead of this race, lapping around the 121s. We have team radio from Lewis Hamilton, and let's see what he has to say about Verstappen coming out ahead of him.
And 4.4 seconds safe to Perez.
Well, he doesn't have anything to say about that, but Perez is, it's pretty likely that Perez will come out behind Lewis Hamilton unless he gets some amazing pace, but Hamilton is lapping half a second quicker than Perez. Oops, I was about to sneeze there. Hamilton lapping half a second quicker than Perez in this on that last lap. So looks like Perez will come out in third place and potentially score a podium at his home race. Verstappen sets the fastest third sector, so those hard tyres very, very good indeed. And their sole aim now is to get to the end of this race without having any collision with any back markers and just no mistakes whatsoever. So there we are. Alrighty. Further down the field, we have Esteban Ocon trying to make an overtake on George Russell. Vettel has just lost 3 positions, not exactly sure why. I think it's just because he came into the pits. All right. But Esteban Ocon and George Russell very much going at it, and Stroll as well behind Esteban Ocon. All 3 of those drivers had grid penalties, and they haven't found their way further up the field. They're still in 14th, 15th, and 16th position, and yeah, they started down in 17th, 18th, and 19th. So not the best of race starts or the first stint really. So it's going to be pretty difficult to find their way up into the points after that. So looks like they're going to be. They've already been lapped, in fact, as well. So not the best race for those guys. Obviously, a grid penalty doesn't help, but there we are. Sainz is still in 4th place, who has not pitted. Leclerc and Gasly both have pitted, so we'll see if we'll see if Sainz's overcut strategy does work, and if he comes out ahead of Leclerc or behind him. And there we go then. Sergio Perez will probably be called into the pits very, very soon. Lance Stroll has just come into the pits, and he has. Let's see how many laps he did on those hard tyres. I think he did. He did 35 laps on those hard tyres. So those hard tyres can definitely go half race distance, and there's 36 laps remaining. So, there we are. Good job from Lance Stroll going that long. He's gone 40 or so laps, 38 laps on those hard tyres. So he's managed that very, very well indeed. And yeah, there we go then. Alrighty, there's it's Esteban Ocon still battling away at George Russell, half a second between the two drivers, and they are currently going down. where are they on track? Oh, they're going down the main straight with the DRS, of course, and Ocon is getting closer and closer, but he cannot pull off an overtake. And this has basically been the story of Mexico. Everyone's gaining on the DRS, but no one is gaining. No one's getting that much time, really. No one's catching up that much. So there we are. Alrighty then. We have now Stroll, who is down in 17th, still catching up to Nicholas Latifi. Just horrible races for everyone who had a grid penalty. The only person who's sort of recovered is Lando Norris. Everyone else is stuck right at the back of the field or is DNF'd. We have team radio from Max Verstappen. Let's listen to this. Here we go. Oops. There.
Just reset your tools as you need to, Max.
So he's just been told, I don't know exactly what reset your tools mean, but I think that means probably change a few engine settings and get back into normal engine settings to try and, I think it's because he was on those medium tires and then obviously had to change some engine settings and torque settings to compensate for the fact that they were wearing out, but now he's back onto normal tires, so he has to, he's back onto hard tires now, fresh hard tires, so he needs to change the settings back, but there we go. Checo needs to pit very, very soon. So just as an explainer of the undercut, so if we imagine someone has driven 30 laps on medium tires, and then the driver who is behind goes into the pits, and they come out on a fresh set of hard tires. Those fresh set of hard tires are quicker than the 30-lap-old medium tires, and because they're newer, than the medium tires, they can set quicker lap times. And then if the driver behind, who's on the fresh tires, sets in quick lap times, then the driver in front, when the driver in front ends up pitting, the driver in front will end up coming out behind. It's pretty difficult to explain. But basically the driver behind pits for new tires, and they have a quicker lap time, and then they end up coming out ahead of the driver in front. But anyway, Valtteri Bottas, once again, he's recharged his battery, cooled down his tyres and his engine, and is back at trying to overtake Daniel Ricciardo, going down the straights 5/10 is a gap, tucked into the slipstream as DRS as much as possible, gaining another 10th down the straight, but still not close enough. In fact, he could actually go side by side into turn 1 now. So solid overtaking attempt from Valtteri Bottas, side by side going into turn 1, but Daniel Ricciardo still comes out ahead of Valtteri Bottas. So Valtteri Bottas still not been able to overtake Daniel Ricciardo, and it's been nearly half the race now, so very unfortunate indeed. We have team radio from Sergio Perez. Let's play this. Here we go.
Yeah, this pace is good.
Yep, so just solid pace from Sergio Perez, and it looks like the Red Bull team don't want to pit him, so it might just be a straight fight between. It'll just be Perez coming out in 3rd place, and then he'll be too far away from Hamilton to attack him, and then he'll get a podium, a pretty solid podium indeed. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so, and if you haven't subscribed as well, be sure to do that. It very much does help out the channel. I think we're quite close to 15k subs. I'm just going to check on how many we're on, in fact. Oh yeah, we're actually quite close. We're 400 or so away. So if you haven't subscribed, very much would appreciate if you do. How are the tyres on Lando's car? I think Lando has done quite a long stint because started out on those. Let's see how many laps he's done on those tyres. So Lando Norris has done 41 laps on those medium tyres, so very long stint indeed, and maybe he's going to try a medium soft strategy and push right at the end of this race, and that might be the way to go, in fact, because if he does come out, he will come out probably in 10th or 11th place behind Valtteri Bottas, so having those soft tyres will be a very big advantage to try and get past him. And as we know, Daniel Ricciardo has held up Valtteri Bottas for the majority of this race, so if Daniel Ricciardo can hold him up on the same tyres, Lando Norris can definitely get past on soft tyres. Also, guys, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, George Russell has just been overtaken by Esteban Ocon. So Esteban Ocon's been trying for the past couple of laps now, and he's just pulled off the overtake just now. So good overtake from Esteban Ocon, but by the looks of it, we'll have to do another pit stop. And then we have Daniel Ricciardo, who's just come into the pits on those, and he's come out on medium tyres. So by the looks of it, all of the guys who pitted at the start of this race because of maybe their front wing getting damaged or they had some issues with the race start, all of those guys are going to have to do two-stoppers. So Valtteri Bottas is now in 11th place, and even if he does progress up a load of positions, he's still going to come out probably in 15th or something. So not looking good for Valtteri Bottas. Sergio Perez finally comes into the pits. He's going to come out ahead behind Lewis Hamilton, and he'll probably come out ahead of Carlos Sainz. So solid job from Sergio Perez, just putting in consistent lap times every single lap, and is now ahead of, well, is in a solid third place, with Carlos Sainz yet to pit. The closest driver behind Sergio Perez is 16 seconds behind him. So unless there's some massive mistake, third place is looking pretty likely for Sergio Perez. Also, I don't know why it's just glitched and said Verstappen was on intermediate tyres. It looks like it's a bit broken, but Verstappen's on hard tyres, and he has done, I think it's 7 or so laps on those hard tyres. So looking pretty good for Max Verstappen. His tyres will probably make it to the end of this race as long as he doesn't have to start pushing for some crazy reason. But with track temperatures looking at 48 degrees or so, they won't have many overheating issues or tyre deg issues, because the circuit with these two massive straights over a kilometre long, the tyres definitely have a lot of time to cool down as well. So the guys who have pulled the two-stopper, Ricciardo, Stroll, will probably see Bottas as well. Yeah, Bottas has just come into the pits as well as I speak, so he's also pulling off the two-stopper, and it was probably going to drop down into 14th place there. So, well, not ideal whatsoever for Valtteri Bottas. In 15th place now, coming out of the pits, and yeah, just horrible race in total. Just got tapped at the start of this race, and that's basically that was basically the end of that. Had no chance to recover because the Mercedes are very, very slow. It's very difficult to overtake in the dirty air. Hamilton has just come over the radio and asked the team to tell him where Verstappen is quicker than him, so he can try and catch up to him, but it's a 10-second gap that he has to catch in the next 30 laps, so it's going to be pretty tough. But 3 seconds, that's only 0.3 of a second every single lap, and he'll catch up by the end of those laps, by the end of this race. So there's a very good chance that Lewis Hamilton could catch up to Max Verstappen by the end of this race. So don't leave the stream, because things could very, very much hot up right at the end of this race. So, Valtteri Bottas had a horrible pit stop. 11.7 seconds his pit stop was. So horrible there. And that's why he's down in 15th, where he's down in 14th, when he would have been up in 12th or 11th. So, there we go. We have team radio from Daniel Ricciardo. Let's listen to this.
How was the medium? Medium looks better time. Medium looks the better time. Okay. Lando is still out on the medium. Lap times are good.
And then team radio from Lewis Hamilton as well.
Let me know when they're quicker, man. When Verstappen's quicker.
So to Verstappen, main losses, exit 11, exit turn 13.
So, it's just the exits of the corners. So obviously, slow in, fast out is the rule of racing. Hamilton's just going to have to try and maximise those corner exits, because that's where he's losing most of the time to Max Verstappen. Lando Norris done 45 laps on those medium tyres. Absolutely epic stint. So it looks like he is trying to do the medium to soft tyre strategy, and if he does, he could potentially score some points, which will be very good, considering everyone else who started right at the back of the field is down in 15th, 16th, 17th, so not the best there from everyone who started at the back. But Lando Norris has done a good job and could potentially score some points as a recovery drive. Carlos Sainz does come out of the pits, and he is now 7.9 seconds behind Charles Leclerc. Right before they went into the pits, Sainz was right on the tail of Leclerc, maybe 1 second behind, and now He is 8.2 seconds behind, so it looks like Ferrari have screwed the strategy up a bit, because now Sainz is so much further behind Charles Leclerc. Back up at the front, the gap is now 10.3 seconds. So if we were talking about maybe Verstappen Hamilton closing the gap down to Max Verstappen, but yeah, Hamilton not being able to do that, at least on these previous 2 laps. We'll see if he can do that on the next few. But the gap, well, in fact, Verstappen has extended the gap by 0.3 of a second, whereas Hamilton is meant to be closing the gap by 0.3 of a second. So, Verstappen very much still got pace on those hard tyres, not lost pace by switching from mediums to hards, and is nevertheless putting in lots of solid lap times, and yeah, just maintaining that lead over Lewis Hamilton, as he needs to do for his drivers' championship battle. Yeah, so now further up Seb Vettel is 2 seconds away from Lando Norris. Vettel on 10-lap-old hards and Lando Norris on 46-lap-old mediums. So Vettel obviously has a tyre advantage, but the McLarens are very quick in a straight line. Aston Martin obviously do have the Merc engines as well, but looks like the McLarens are more slippery and got less drag and are generally just quick around this circuit. So we'll see if Vettel can make the overtake stick. He's gained 0.5 in the last couple of corners. Going through the middle sector is where Lando Norris loses out the most, because he's got the most worn out tyres on the entire circuit, in fact. We have Lewis Hamilton, who's just had the fastest first sector, so the battle for first place isn't over, but it's looking rather unlikely, because Hamilton still got the quickest first sector, but yeah, not being able to gain on Verstappen overall. Verstappen has just come over the radio and asked, "Can you keep an eye on my front left compared to all of the other drivers?" So the front left tyre is the tyre that usually gets the most wear going around this circuit. So Max Verstappen, by the looks of it, has got a bit more wear on his front left compared to all of the other drivers. Well, he feels that he's got a bit more wear, and that's why he's come over the radio to ask about his left front and to make sure there isn't too much wearing out. But the close-up shots have shown a bit of graining, and he's just going to have to maintain that and make sure the graining doesn't get any worse, and maybe get a bit more tyre temperature or reduce it depending on if it's cold or hot graining. Norris has finally boxed. He comes out on the hard tyres, so I don't know exactly why he stayed out for so many laps on those mediums, but he comes out in 10th place on fresh hard tyres, and now he's got a 5-lap tyre advantage over Fernando Alonso, and of course a lot more top speed as well. So we'll see if he can close the gap and get a few more positions up, and try and win this, try and get some more points for McLaren, because Ferrari are in 5th and 6th, and McLaren are only scoring 1 point this weekend if the standings stay as they are. So not looking good for McLaren in the championship, but they have to try something to try and get past. There we go then. Alrighty, so then, further down the field, we have Valtteri Bottas trying to make an overtake on Esteban Ocon. He has fresh medium tyres, in fact, does Valtteri Bottas, but still cannot get past Esteban Ocon. So not looking the best there for Valtteri Bottas. Yeah, the Mercedes just does not look very, very strong in these medium, in dirty air. So that's why he's having a lot of difficulty trying to overtake. Yeah. There we go then. Sergio Perez started the race in 4th place, now is in 3rd and has got the fastest lap of the race. Mercedes have just tweeted, honestly, it doesn't feel like our day, but AWS has just predicted that there's 18 laps, they're going to be within striking distance, and the overtake difficulty is very high for Lewis Hamilton. So AWS predicts the final 7 laps we're going to have a battle between Verstappen and Hamilton, and I predict that AWS are wrong, because of the simple fact that Verstappen keeps on extending that gap to Lewis Hamilton. And in fact, Sergio Perez is closing up. It could be a Red Bull 1-2. Perez has got the gap down from 8 seconds to 7. From 8 seconds to 7. I think it was 9 seconds to 7 seconds. So there's a very good chance that Sergio Perez, with those 11 lap fresher hard tyres that he has, could catch up to Lewis Hamilton and make a move stick around the outside or down the inside. We are on lap number, 47, and there are 24 laps remaining of this 71 lap race. AWS make a lot of predictions and they're 100% wrong, and I'm quite good at predicting that. So there we go. Bottas was the pole sitter and just had an absolutely horrible race. So, it just doesn't look like it's Bottas's day. He's still stuck behind. Oh no, he's just made the overtake on Esteban Ocon, but now he's stuck behind Daniel Ricciardo, as he has been for the past 40 laps of this race. So there we are. Bottas just, being stuck behind Ricciardo for 30 or 40 laps of this race. Very much not their day. Perez, the gap is stabilised between Perez and Hamilton now. It's hovering around 7 seconds. And it's sort of entering the phase of just managing your tyres and make sure you can get to the end of the race, because there's 24 laps remaining, and obviously no one wants to put unnecessary wear on those tyres. Giovinazzi, Ocon, Russell, Latifi, Mazepin, all either are going to have to pit or manage these tyres and tiptoe around, because they have 23 laps remaining and they've already done 30 or more laps on those hard tyres. Perez is doing a very good job for a number 2 driver, isn't he? He's in 3rd place, and we'll see if he can catch up and maybe get a podium. And alright, I'm just going to get a drink, and then, get back to the commentary in a second. So Hamilton and Verstappen will probably not pit again. It doesn't look very likely. There's no reason for them to pit again, because if Hamilton pits, he'll come out behind Sergio Perez. That means losing very important Constructors' Championship points. And if Verstappen pits, then he'll lose the lead to Hamilton and Perez. So seems like a bit of a stupid decision. And back at the front, wait, what was I going to say? Oh, I forgot. Oh, well, we have team radio from Carlos Sainz, so let's play this. Here we go.
If we want to catch Gasly, we need to start pushing more.
Understood, I'll let you know.
So Sainz is saying that they need to push more and more. And in fact, it looks like Sainz is the quicker Ferrari driver today. He had a 9-second gap to Charles Leclerc and has closed that up to 5 seconds now over the course of, I think it's 6 laps or so. So Carlos Sainz, very quick in that Ferrari, and he wants to get that 4th place, maybe get ahead of Leclerc and get ahead of Pierre Gasly as well. It looks like he has the pace, and he definitely wants to do it, of course. And the gap between Leclerc and Sainz in the Drivers' Championship is half a point. Leclerc is on 116.5, and Carlos Sainz on 116. So literally half a point between the 2 drivers. Both Ferrari, obviously they want to. Ferrari have said that there's no number 1 driver, and by the looks of it, they aren't prioritising anyone so far, but they did have a bit of a weird strategy with Carlos Sainz, so not exactly sure why they did that. But Sergio Perez has just set the fastest lap of the race, closing the gap down from 7 seconds down to 6. So as we get closer and closer to the end of this race, the tyre advantage that Sergio Perez has gets bigger and bigger, and it looks like he'll be catching Lewis Hamilton within a matter of laps. And Red Bull have just come over the radio as well, telling Sergio Perez, saying that he's going to catch Lewis Hamilton, and the gap has dipped down as well. And he's also set fastest lap of the race, and the Mexican fans are very much going crazy, as we were expecting. But cannot wait to see what they decide to do when he does get that podium. And thank you everyone for watching the stream, and if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so, and if you haven't subscribed as well, very much would appreciate it. Trying to hit 15k subs, and we are 233 subscribers away. So there's 7,000 of you watching, so I'm sure some of you aren't subscribed. So I very much would appreciate it if you did. All right. Back further down the field, we have Bottas once again stuck behind Ricciardo, as he has been for the entirety of this race, really. And then we have Stroll, who is 1.1 seconds behind George Russell. And yeah, so he's stuck behind George Russell and cannot get past, even though George Russell's on 34 lap old medium tyres. So not the best thing. Well, not the best look on Lance Stroll. He's in 16th place. Seb Vettel's up in 17th. Obviously, Stroll had the penalty, but he has not been able to recover as well as Lando Norris has today. And yeah, there we are. Sergio Perez, fastest middle and last sector. So he's very much looking to catch up to Lewis Hamilton as quickly as possible. He's got the gap down from 6 seconds to 5.5. So very much chipping away. And the current pace on track, Sergio Perez is the quickest driver. He's lapping around about the 1:19.4s, whereas Hamilton's lapping the 1:20.4s. So, yeah, Perez nearly around about a second a lap quicker. And yeah, it's looking very, very good indeed for for Red Bull, for the constructors and the drivers, because if Perez can get past Hamilton, that extends Verstappen's championship lead by, I think, 22 points, which is very, very big indeed. Stefan Homburg, you've just donated €20 to the Team C's. Very much is appreciated. Guys, if you didn't know, the stream today is a charity stream. All of the ad revenue and the donations all go to two charities that are cleaning up the ocean of all of the plastic. So yeah, very much do appreciate it for all the support. Back up at the front, Verstappen has set the fastest lap of the race. Absolutely electric pace from him. I don't know why it says that he's on soft tyres. He's on hard tyres. I can confirm that. And he is on. He's set a 1:18.999 lap. So nearly a full second quicker than Hamilton's previous lap time. And yeah, just pulling away. And Sergio Perez is getting ever closer. Gap down to 5 seconds. And we have some team radio from Max Verstappen. Let's play that.
Okay, gap to Hamilton now at 12.8.
Yeah, I'm just managing.
Yeah, copy. That's perfect, Max. Just look after the car.
All right then, so they're just saying look after the car and try and get to the end of the race as well as possible, because well, that's their aim, isn't it? Because Verstappen obviously doesn't want to put too much stress on the tyres or the car chassis or the engine, of course, because if you have to take an engine penalty, that very much does hinder your chances of scoring lots of points. And as you can see, the guys who've taken engine penalty, most of them are outside of the points, and the highest placed person who took a grid penalty today is Lando Norris in 10th, scoring 1 point. So engine penalties definitely do hurt your race, your chances of winning the race, of course. And he just set the fastest lap of the race as well. So that's an extra bonus point of the race if he can keep that till the end. We have team radio from Seb Vettel. Let's listen to this.
Just to let you know, you had the left toggle on for the whole lap. We're happy with that. Just make sure you...
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
So Vettel left the left toggle on for the whole lap. Obviously, I'm not an Aston Martin engineer, don't know exactly what the left toggle is, but I'm assuming it's one of the settings which might be important, might not be important. So, well, no, it's definitely an important setting. It's just that it's quite likely that you probably don't want it on for extended periods of time. So that's why they came over the radio to make sure he knew he didn't leave it on by accident. Also, guys, who is your driver of the day? Be sure to let me know in the chat. Yeah, I don't actually know who my driver of the day would be, really. I guess I'm not actually sure. So let me know who your driver of the day is. Perez is catching Hamilton. I think I'd have to say Perez, because he is now 4 seconds away from Lewis Hamilton. Got the gap down again from 7 seconds, what it originally was, down to 4 now. And he's closing up on Lewis Hamilton, more and more laps. And there we go then. yeah, Perez made up 3 seconds, and Hamilton's just come over the radio, and he's told it will be the last lap that they're going to that Perez will catch up to him. So 17 laps to go, and the Mercedes guys have just said on the last lap of the race there's going to be a battle for second place. So you guys, I would recommend you stick around, because Perez versus Hamilton, this is where the championship very much does get decided. Like, it's not the final championship decider, of course, but points that are won or lost here will definitely go to contribute against who wins the championship. It's very, very important indeed, so do stick around, and we'll see what Hamilton does to try and hold Sergio Perez behind. Sergio Perez gained another half a second on this lap, so getting closer and closer as he is continuing to push. All right then. Here we go. Perez once again a quickest middle sector. So the middle sector is where you need the most tire life, really, because it's hard tires. It's high speed corners. Sorry. In the middle sector, you need the most tires. Like, you need the tire wear is very important going through high speed corners. And if Sergio Perez is setting fastest lap of the fastest middle sector, he definitely does have a lot of tire life left. He has 11 lap fresher tyres compared to Lewis Hamilton as well, so that's definitely going to help out when he is challenging, he's going to challenge Lewis Hamilton to a battle and trying to overtake him. We are now 94 subscribers away from 15k subs, guys. 94. So if you haven't subscribed, very much would appreciate the subscription, and be sure to turn on the notification so you don't miss when the race starts. Because yeah, that's happened a few times. Well, usually I get a notification, but sometimes if I don't check my phone, then you could very much miss it out, very much forget about the race. But Carlos Sainz has now closed up the gap to Charles Leclerc. The gap between Leclerc and Sainz was originally 9 seconds, and now it's down to 1.5 seconds. We have some team radio from Charles Leclerc, and maybe it might be some team orders going on. But let's listen and let's see what Charles Leclerc has to say.
And we should try to swap positions with Sainz, and he will try to attack Gasly.
So Leclerc has just aired the Ferrari team. He just pressed the radio button, didn't say anything, and then closed the radio button again. So Ferrari want to let Sainz get past, because of course Sainz is the quicker Ferrari driver, catching up by 7.5 seconds or so in 13 laps. So if he can replicate that once again, he could definitely catch up to Pierre Gasly, considering Carlos Sainz has fresher tyres compared to Pierre Gasly. Gap at the front, Perez down to 2.5 seconds, so 2.5 seconds is getting closer and closer, and we'll see if the dirty air does start to affect Sergio Perez. Of course, the dirty air is very, it gives you a lot of overheating issues, and we'll see if Sergio Perez can overcome them and get past Lewis Hamilton. There's 15 laps to go now, and this is it then. And if Mexico, if Perez gets past Hamilton, I like the Mexican fans are going to go absolutely crazy. So there we are. Can I show you the top speeds? Sure. I'm pretty sure the top speed is still 360. Yep, it's 360 kilometers an hour from Lance Stroll, which is 3 kilometers off the record in a Formula 1 car. So there you go. But the Mercs are 10 kilometers an hour quicker or so going down the straights, because of course, they have the DRS, and they also are quicker in a straight line. Carlos Sainz has just been let by Charles Leclerc, so Charles Leclerc sacrificing his 5th place and giving that to his teammate, and Carlos Sainz will be doing his best to try and overtake Pierre Gasly by the end of this race. Kimi Räikkönen is in 8th place, and maybe the Alfa Romeo can score some points. AWS has just come over and said striking distance for Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton battle in 2 laps, and the overtake difficulty is going to be medium. And it looks like that could actually happen. 1.6 seconds is the gap between Perez and Hamilton, and Perez is getting very, very close to DRS range now. It'll only be a matter of laps before he does get it. and then we're in for a very interesting battle up on the podium for second place. All right then. It looks like Hamilton made a small mistake as well in turn 12, so the pressure is very much building, and we've hit exactly 15k subs. In fact, right now I just refreshed it and we're on 15k. So everyone that has subscribed, very much do appreciate all of your support. And yeah, it's because of you guys I do this every single week, and you guys seem to enjoy it. So yeah, thank you. All right then. So up at the front, gap once again down to 1.3 seconds. So yeah, it's getting closer and closer for Sergio Perez, and he is well, he obviously has a top speed deficit to Lewis Hamilton because the Mercedes is much quicker in a straight line, but there is definitely a chance for Sergio Perez to get past and, well, try and overtake Lewis Hamilton here. So getting closer and closer to DRS range, going through the middle sector. The dirty air will not be helping him out, and they're also coming up on traffic. Norris and Alonso both traffic for Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez, so they're gonna have to watch out and try and not get in the way of this little battle that they're having for second place. All right then. Looking at the tyres, Sergio Perez still has 11 lap fresher tyres compared to Lewis Hamilton, and he is definitely using that to his maximum advantage, gaining now he's 1.1 seconds away from Lewis Hamilton. He'll have the slipstream down the straight, no DRS just yet, just slightly out the DRS range right now. And also, guys, if you don't know what DRS is, it's drag reduction system, and it gives you extra top speed going down the straight, and extra top speed helps with the overtaking, of course. So once you're within 1 second of the driver ahead of you, you get DRS and you can activate it and get extra top speed. So yeah, that's what Sergio Perez is now. He's 23 milliseconds away from DRS range. Very much touch and go if he does get DRS on this next lap, but if he does, then the battles that we're going to get till the end of this race, 12 laps to go, and this is it then. Bottas once again very close to overtaking Daniel Ricciardo, only a tenth between the two drivers, but still unsuccessful in making the overtake stick going into turn 1. So now he has the slipstream and the DRS going down into turn number 4, and he's actually 2/10 behind Ricciardo, and there's a very good chance he could make an overtake, but decides to back out of it and not do anything silly. So he is still in 13th place and has not made the overtake yet on Daniel Ricciardo. But back at the start-finish straight, Sergio Perez has got the DRS, and he has now got DRS and slipstream going down the straight. He is gaining on Lewis Hamilton. Probably won't be close enough this lap, but next lap, very much, well, very, very likely that we're going to have some side-by-side action going into turn 1 and turn 4. Hamilton is coming up on the back markers of Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso. Very unusual to say Lando Norris is a back marker, but he is down in 10th place and Fernando Alonso's in 9th. So Norris will have to get out of the way of Hamilton and Perez and try not interfere in their battle. But Perez is getting ever closer. 7/10 now is the gap between the two drivers. And yeah, just want to see what Hamilton does to try and defend against Sergio Perez, because this is very much championship on the line. Because if he loses, if he gives the position away to Sergio Perez, he loses 8 points in the championship battle. Oh no, it might be 8 or it might be 3. I can't exactly remember. But nevertheless, he loses points, and it's very, very critical for him not to lose any points anymore, because if he does, then that gap will be extended up to 25 points for between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, and they'll basically have to practically rely on the fact that Verstappen is going to DNF in one of the races to come. So yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult if Hamilton loses out this position. So this is critical for the championship now. 6/10 is the gap between the two drivers. Bottas still unsuccessful in overtaking Daniel Ricciardo. He's dropped back again to recharge his battery and cool down those tyres and the engine. Sergio Perez is now dipping out of the slipstream. Oh no, he's coming out of the slipstream because his engine has started to overheat. So as we all know, the dirty air that very much does overheat everything on your car. And yeah, he's having a lot of issues there because the closer and closer you get, the more and more warm air you get coming off Hamilton's car, and then the more overheating you get. So Sergio Perez is managing his tyres and overheating, and hopefully he can recharge his battery just enough for, with 10 laps to go, he can pull off an overtake. So there we are. 35% of you have voted for Sergio Perez to be driver of the day. So yeah, Sergio Perez definitely does deserve driver of the day. I mean, it's his home race, got 3rd place, and is battling for 2nd place. So yeah, we'll see. And it's probably the most exciting thing going on track right now as well. So here we go then. He's in fact exactly 1 second. So I think he's just got the DRS coming out the final corner. We'll have to wait and see if he's got it though. And yeah, there we go then. Alrighty. Also, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We're actually very close to 15,000 likes. So yeah, if we could hit that, that would be very epic, because I think that would make it my 2nd highest ever stream. So yeah, do appreciate all the support, guys. But Sergio Perez is within DRS range. Lando Norris has let both of them by, so no traffic issues there. Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Kimi Raikkonen, all coming up as traffic for these guys. So they're going to have to negotiate traffic and try and get past. So it could be Fernando Alonso accidentally blocking Lewis Hamilton or Sergio Perez that could swing the battle in this. Swing the battle in someone's favour, in Hamilton or Perez's favour. 1.1 seconds is the gap, so Perez has to drop back a bit because of course, the dirty air is heating up his tyres a bit too much and overheating his engine as well. And yeah, there we go. Driver of the day is most likely going to be Sergio Perez. I think Sergio Perez got 35% of the votes, which is very, very high indeed. So 8 laps to go now, and the gap between Perez and Hamilton, 1.1 seconds. When the Mercedes engineers said that you're going to make an overtake on the final lap of this race, I didn't think that would happen. I think it happened a lot sooner, but it looks like it's going to happen right at the end between these two drivers. So here we go then. Oh, in fact, we have team radio from Lando Norris, so let's just play this. Here we go.
Okay, let's stay with them now. Benefit from when they go through Alonso.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Yep, so Lando Norris has been told to stay behind Perez and Hamilton and try and pounce on an opportunity to overtake Alonso when he inevitably has to let Hamilton and Perez by. Perez has dropped back out of the dirty air, which is costing him tyre wear. He's going to cool off for a few laps and try again. And maybe force a mistake from Lewis Hamilton as well. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion, is very unlikely for him to make a mistake, but this season he's been making more mistakes than he usually does. Lots of pressure from Max Verstappen to win this championship, so there we are. Alrighty then. Let's see. In fact, this is a very interesting statistic, but everyone has been lapped in today's race other than the top 6. So Vettel has been lapped as well, and by the looks of it, and in fact, Stroll, Russell, Latifi have been lapped 2 times, and Mazepin has been lapped 3 times. So yeah, Mazepin 3 times he's been lapped by all of the other drivers, by Max Verstappen at least. So Mazepin having a very horrible race today, and yeah, definitely shouldn't be an F1. Maz's spin, really, that's what it should be. But here we are, because the world does work on money, really. So. And Formula 1 loves money, so that's what it is. Max Verstappen says the fastest middle sector, so he's still got pace in those hard tyres, which he's been going on for about, I think, 20 or so laps now. So definitely got the pace. Perez has dropped back significantly. In fact, 2 seconds is the gap between Perez and Hamilton, and it looks like it's because Fernando Alonso gave way to Lewis Hamilton, but didn't give way to Sergio Perez, and that is why Sergio Perez has dropped back to 2 seconds now. We'll see if Perez can now catch up with 6 laps to go, and we'll see what's going on then. We'll see if Perez can make the overtake stick. Valtteri Bottas, after trying to overtake Daniel Ricciardo for the previous 30 laps, has just been overtaken by Esteban Ocon. So Valtteri Bottas has just pitted to go on to soft tyres because apparently his medium tyres couldn't make it to the end of the race, and that's what's happening there. We have team radio from Charles Leclerc, so let's play this. Here we go.
These tires are freaking weird.
Copy, understood.
Yeah, so Charles Leclerc not being able to understand the tyres. He's just he thinks the tyres are wearing out a lot. So and the Mercedes, not the Mercedes, the Ferrari engineers, all they say is copy that and understood. So there we go. But this is it now. 5 laps to go, and Sergio, and the gap between Hamilton and Perez is 2 seconds, so 5 laps, 2 seconds gap, and there's no more back marker traffic that should be coming up within the next 5 laps. So that's it then. Mike is a moderator. Mike, have you change your name, because I don't remember making Mike my moderator, but I mean, it's cool. But you somehow got moderator. Anyway, Ricciardo is in fact on the back of Giovinazzi. So the McLarens are down in 10th and 12th, and the Ferraris are up in 5th and 6th. So that's not helping in their 3rd place battle for the constructors. But up at the front, the gap between Perez and Hamilton has been reduced by 0.2 of a second, but it's not getting close enough. I mean, 5 laps to go now, and Perez is still not within DRS range. He needs to get within DRS range. Maybe we could get epic last lap overtake, but yeah. And even if Valtteri Bottas does get fastest lap of the race because he's pitted onto those soft tyres, it doesn't mean anything, because you have to be within the top 10 to get the fastest lap point. So so Bottas won't get the fastest lap point, so I think it might take away a point from Max Verstappen. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, he needs to have Sergio Perez. He dropped back to cool his tyres, but I don't know if he has enough tyre life left to mount a final challenge on Lewis Hamilton. It's just been hovering around 2 seconds, so who knows? It'll take the point away. Okay. All right, cool. It's just because I thought it was the fastest driver in the top 10 gets it. Or it could be the fastest lap. Yeah, the fastest lap in the top 10. Or maybe it was just the fastest lap, and if you're not in the top 10, you don't get the point. So who knows? Either way, back up at the front, 1.7 seconds, and Ricciardo is getting ever closer to overtaking Antonio Giovinazzi. 1.2 seconds is the gap there, and Giovinazzi's done an absolutely stellar job at managing those hard tyres, because he's done 50 laps on those hard tyres. Esteban Ocon's done 51, and George Russell's done 50. All of the other drivers went into pit, but Russell, Ocon, and Giovinazzi have managed 50 laps on those hard tyres, which is absolutely astonishing. And Lando Norris as well, he did 47 laps on those medium tyres, on his medium tyres. So very good time management indeed from all around the grid today. Gap at the front down to 1.3. So Perez is edging closer and closer to that DRS range, and he crosses the start-finish line now with 3 laps to go. And this is it then, 3 laps and a straight 1v1 battle between Hamilton and Perez for 2nd place. All right, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so, and if you haven't turned on the notification bell, be sure to do that. And my Twitter and Instagram is in the description. I'm just going to plug this until Perez gets within DRS range, which is, well, he's very close, in fact. But my Twitter and Instagram, F1_gamer_5. So be sure to go follow me on that. And yeah, do hit the like button. And this is it now. 3 laps to go. Well, 2.5 laps to go. And Perez is so close to DRS range. 1.1 second is the gap between Hamilton. So he's very much picked up the pace in this final 2 laps. And he is gaining every single corner now. He's 55 milliseconds away from DRS range. So if he has to hook up these next 2 corners, and he will get the DRS going down the start-finish straight. So this is it then. Will he get it? I think that Sergio Perez has got the DRS range. He's got the DRS activation point. And going down the straight now, he'll have the slipstream and the toe. Well, no, slipstream and the DRS, sorry. He's tucked in right behind Lewis Hamilton and is his top speed is increasing, was a lot higher compared to Hamilton. Ferrari have swapped back. Leclerc has just overtaken Carlos Sainz, and Ferrari have just pulled that off because they did team orders before, but then because Sainz couldn't overtake Gasly, they decided to switch back in order to maintain the fairness. Sergio Perez now 7 tenths behind Lewis Hamilton, so he's once again got DRS range going down into turn 4, and now this is going to be critical that he stays within DRS range in this middle sector, because it's high speed corners and the dirty air affects you a lot. And also, guys, you probably could have done like a drinking game on me saying DRS, because I've just said it so much today. Drinking game on like DRS and dirty air. You'd probably, well, you wouldn't be here at the end of this race really. But Perez now 8 tenths behind Lewis Hamilton, and there's a very good chance that he could pull off an overtake going down into the start-finish straight now. So here he is coming out the final corner. Very good exit from Sergio Perez, smooth on the power, shifting up through the gears now, going past the start-finish line, activating DRS in the toe, in the slipstream, gaining more than 20 kilometers an hour quicker, 20 kilometers an hour quicker going down the straight now because of the slipstream and the DRS. And he is gaining 5 tenths as the gap between them now. Will he be close enough down by the end of the straight? No, he will not. Not being able to pull off a successful overtake right into turn number 1. Let's see if he gets if Hamilton takes an inside defensive line, then Perez could pull off the switchback and get a better exit. 5 tenths now going into turn 4. Gone down to 4. Let's see if they can get any closer. He's just not got enough top end. We're gonna have to turn up the VTEC really. This is it. After this lap, this will be the last lap of the race. So Sergio Perez is throwing everything at it. It's the penultimate lap of the race now. Valtteri Bottas has just set the fastest first sector. It looks like he's going for fastest lap of the race to take it away from Max Verstappen. But back up in the battle for second place, Kimi Raikkonen could potentially give Lewis Hamilton DRS, which could very much hinder Sergio Perez's chances of making that overtake. It looks like Kimi Raikkonen might actually give Sergio Perez DRS, which is Lewis Hamilton DRS, which is going to be which can make it ever more harder for Sergio Perez to pull off an overtake. But we'll see what happens there. So that is it then. Wait, was that the final lap of the race? Oh, apparently it was. I read the wrong number. Okay, so that is it then. Sergio Perez does not overtake Lewis Hamilton. I don't know why. I thought it was the second to last lap of the race. It was the last lap of the race. So Sergio Perez gets third place, scoring his first ever home podium, and then Valtteri Bottas gets the fastest lap of the race. But I don't know if he gets that championship point or if Max Verstappen gets a championship point. But the championship overall, I'm just going to tell you the difference between Hamilton and Verstappen now. Hamilton, the gap has been extended to now 19 points. Between the two drivers. Verstappen is a 19-point championship advantage over Lewis Hamilton. So very good job there. And we have team radio from Sergio Perez. Let's play this.
Okay, drain the battery. Final lap, this is it.
So yeah, that was it. Final lap of the race, and they decided, well, let's just go full push and try and get rid of every bit of electrical energy that we have. But it was not enough to get past. I think we've got 4 races left now of the season. 4 races remain. And also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Very much will help out the channel and the stream. If you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. We've just hit 15k, but of course going for 20k and more. So very much will help out. And this is it then. So Verstappen has taken the race win at Mexico, and Lewis Hamilton is in second place. Good job from him. Well, the Red Bulls were significantly quicker in terms of race pace. Well, Max Verstappen definitely was. Sergio Perez was right on the back of Lewis Hamilton right at the end of this race, but could not make the overtake right at the end stick, really. So there we go. And then further down the field, Pierre Gasly, solid drive all weekend. And then just put it in 4th place. Been sat in no man's land for the majority of this race, but definitely did a good job and got some solid points for AlphaTauri. 5th and 6th, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz was the quicker Ferrari driver, but Ferrari made him go back into 6th place, and Charles Leclerc up into 5th because of team orders, which is fair enough because Sainz was originally behind Leclerc, so they switched him forward and then switched him back again, so that's fine from a Ferrari standpoint, and they have definitely got a lot of points as well. They've gained a lot of points over McLaren in the constructors because Lando Norris only scored 1 point and McLaren didn't score any more because Ricciardo was out of the point, so only 1 point for McLaren this weekend. Everyone, thank you for all of the really nice messages in the chat. Very much do appreciate it. And then we have Vettel in 7th. He just had a very good, solid race in 7th place, really. Couldn't get any closer to the Ferraris because they were just so much quicker. And then Kimi Raikkonen scoring some good points for Alfa Romeo. That's going to help them out in the championship because, they're just they haven't scored many points this season, so that'll put them ahead of Haas and maybe catch them up a bit to Williams. But that 3rd place that George Russell got in Spa, that's definitely going to help out Williams to try and get that 7th place, I think, in the Constructors' Championship. And then we have Fernando Alonso in 9th place. Had a pretty decent race start. Had to avoid a lot of chaos right at the start, but then couldn't progress any higher up the field. Lando Norris, an amazing recovery drive from the back of the field. A very good first stint, 46 laps on those medium tyres. I mean, that is absolutely crazy, especially he did it on the mediums, not even the hards. So, there we go. The District 644 and Sean Christopherson, Hyper Galaxy 2004, Ricardo Morris. All of you guys do appreciate all of the support. And then Antonio Giovinazzi in 11th. He had an amazing race start, gained 6 places on the race start, but then couldn't, and then dropped back at the he gained 6 positions, but then his race pace wasn't up to scratch, and then fell down into 11th place. Daniel Ricciardo just been stuck in 12th and got spun around. Obviously tapped Valtteri Bottas at the start of this race, got spun around and is in, and then of course that sort of ended his race from there because he was right at the back of the field. Esteban Ocon couldn't really recover from his grid penalty, and neither could Lance Stroll. Valtteri Bottas was the pole sitter, got fastest lap of this race, but finished the race in 15th after getting spun around right at the front, which is very, very unfortunate, but I guess that's just racing, really. Daniel Ricciardo had a bit of a lock-up and just sort of tapped Valtteri Bottas, and that was the end of his race, really. George Russell couldn't recover from his 6th place gearbox penalty. Nicholas Latifi in 17th place, just didn't really have any pace this weekend. And then Nikita Mazepin, the only driver to get lapped 3 times, rounded out the grid in 18th with Tsunoda and Schumacher getting DNFs. So there we go then. Thank you, Foneco, and everyone really. So there we go. I am streaming for the next weekend for the race in Brazil. It's a triple header. We got Brazil, and then I think we got, is it Qatar? Yeah, I think we got Qatar, and then we got Saudi Arabia, and then Abu Dhabi. So Brazil. I am streaming next week. So make sure to tune in. And the fans are very much going crazy. All of the Mexican fans. It's great to see that. And yeah. So that has been today's stream, guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Do appreciate all of the support, and absolutely lovely. And we've hit 15k as well. 15. We're nearly 15.2k. There's 28 left of you guys to subscribe. So if you do subscribe, very much is appreciated. Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez both holding the Mexican flag now in the stadium section. Absolutely great. Very nice, wholesome scenes in the stadium section at Mexico today. That has been today's race. If you guys have any questions or anything in the chat, then be sure to let me know. I will probably answer them because I've got maybe 10 or so minutes before I end the stream. So there you are. Yep, Kimi Räikkönen 8th place. Just a solid drive from him, really. And yeah, there's not much to complain of. A solid performance, and he's just done that throughout his entire career. But definitely scored some good points for Alfa Romeo, completely unexpected as well. So there you are. I cannot show you the stream of the podium video because still will get copyrighted by YouTube and Sky Sports. So there we are. Do I have the post-race team radios? Yes, I probably do. Let's see. I forgot to play them, in fact. So we have Lewis Hamilton's team radio. Oh no, we have Sergio Perez and well. So Sergio in 3rd place. This is his team radio. Let's listen to this.
Thank you, guys. I'm so happy we won in my country. Thank you, guys. Now time for some tequila.
Yeah, so Sergio Perez wants some tequila after getting this podium in his home race. And then we have team radio from Lewis Hamilton as well. So let's play this. Here we go.
I gave it everything. Just don't have the pace.
Yeah, so Lewis Hamilton was pretty breathless and was just like, don't have any pace whatsoever. So that's happened there. Lewis Hamilton has just done an interview and said, congratulations to Max, their car was the fastest this weekend and there wasn't a lot I could do about it. I gave it everything, and a great fight with Sergio at the end. It just shows how fast their car was going. He was applying pressure and he just kept on going. That kept going. So yeah. So Sergio Perez very much he's gonna be celebrating this podium for a long time. And it looks like the podium celebrations will probably go quite late into the night. The start time for the for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We have a sprint race in Brazil. So sprint race, and yeah. Okay. So I'll be streaming for the sprint qualifying, for qualifying and then the sprint race and then the race as well. So all of them I will be streaming, and yeah. Alrighty then. I don't have any science team radio, so unfortunately, sorry about that. If you get any sub for 1 month, I got a real question for you. If you get any sub for 1 month, for example, will you anything for a lifetime or no? I've no idea. I don't know. I don't know exactly what that means. As there is a cross sign out there. Not exactly sure what you mean. And also, guys, I do have the F1 2021 game, so let me know in the chat if you do want to see any F1 game content, because, yeah, I mean, I quite like playing the F1 game. I'm not the quickest, but there we go. Yeah, Ferrari are now 3rd in the Constructors, and Verstappen has a 19-point lead over Lewis Hamilton in the Constructors, so it's looking good. And I'll just check the Constructors standings as well, but I think it's some pretty solid points that they have got overall. I think I can probably just add it up on my calculator on my phone. Let's see, what is it? So Max Verstappen is on 312.5 and Sergio Perez on 165. So Red Bull are on 477 points, and Mercedes are on let's see, 293.5. Red Bull are on 400 and Mercedes are on 478.5. So the Constructors' Championship is literally 1 point in between 1 point in between the two constructors of Red Bull and Mercedes, really. So you guys do want the F1 game. Well, there's like, let's see how many of you, I'm not sure. But cool. I mean, I'll think about it. I still have a lot of stuff going on in real life, but yeah, if I do get some time, I will make some F1 game videos as well. And yeah, we have a sprint race in Brazil, so make sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss qualifying, of course, because yeah, qualifying is obviously pretty important for the sprint race. But yeah, there we are. Alrighty. So yeah, it's been a very good stream today, guys. A pretty interesting race as well. So like the subscriptions options at the FIA F1 site live timing. So it's basically, I don't know about the F1 FIA like live timing things. Yeah, I don't think there are any lifetime add-ons. I think it's all subscriptions. So there we are. But yeah, that's been a pretty good stream, guys. So have a nice morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. So yeah, cheers, fellas.